Shalom, Israel. We coming to you again with another lesson. And we hope that the lessons that we've been doing and that it edifies and helps everyone that joins in and watches them. Because, we have a lesson today that's entitled, Obey Your Parents or Die. There's no compromising or anything like that. You either obey your parents or you die. Because you're not in charge of anything. This society and this world has caused young people to think that they are in charge, to think that they are being disrespected, and it's the other way around. As long as you stay in your parents' house, I don't care if you're 10 years old or if you're 50 years old, you have to abide by the rules that is set for that household. No questions asked. And so we just want to make sure that everyone understands, especially all of Israel. We want all of Israel to be obedient to their parents so that their days may be long, so that they may be able to prosper in their lives today. And so without any other interference or further ado or anything, let's get the lesson going today. We're going to have Brother Yoram, he's here with us today, as well as our sister, Hanaya. She's here with us today. You want to say hi?
Good afternoon, Israel.
You want to say hi, brother?
Good afternoon, Israel.
And so we're going to have Brother Yoram. He's going to start out. Am I correct? He's going to start out with the lesson today.
Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 9. For everyone that curseth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. He have cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him.
He that curses his mother or his father shall surely be put to death. You see, the days where they have the white man that he makes all the rules. And so people have a tendency to think that things change, but they don't change in the eyes of God. So just because the white man set rules, the Bible still stands for the Israelites. And so it tells us, it says that for everyone that curses his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. He that curses his father or his mother, his blood is upon his own head. If something happened to him, it's not his mother's fault. It's not his father's fault. It is their fault because they have already been told, and I'm sure they have been taught scripture that says that you should respect your parents. And so when something happens to you, there's nobody's fault but your own. So I say to all Israel children today, you need to check yourself. What do you have for me, my sister?
Colossians chapter 3, verse 20. Children, obey your parents in all things. For this is well pleasing unto the Lord.
Children, obey your parents in all things, in everything that you do. Obey your parents. Don't be disrespecting your parents because you see other kids that might be able to get away with some things, disrespecting their parents and stuff. The Bible tells us to what? To children, obey your parents. That in all things, for this, what? It is well pleasing with Yahweh. It is well pleasing with Yahweh. It's no compromising or anything like that. The Bible specifically says, obey your parents, because that is one of the things that is well pleasing with Yahweh and his son Yahweh. And so we try to listen to what the other rules are, Of course, this society make rules. The white man make their rules, but God's rules are for the Israelites. Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments are for the Israelites. Just because they make it a law that you can be able to do certain things, you can call the police on your parents when they chastise you and stuff like that, doesn't mean that it's okay with God. So you need to check yourself and get into these scriptures and start to understanding your role as a child. Read what you got, brother.
Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 18.
Read.
If man have a stubborn and rebellious son,
If man has a stubborn and rebellious son, read,
which will not obey the voice of his father,
which will not obey the voice of his father, read,
or the voice of his mother,
read,
that when they have chastising him, will not hearken unto them.
They won't listen, read.
Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, and bring him out unto the elders of his city, and unto the gates of his place.
You got to bring them kids before the elders. You see, we're not allowed to do any of those things today because of the laws of the white man, the laws of America. We're not allowed to make sure that our kids be the best that they can be because we can't chastise our kids the way that the Bible and the way that Yahweh tells us that we should chastise our kids. And the kids today, they are taking advantage that their parents cannot do certain things, you know, and it's not right. Read, brother.
And they should say unto the elders,
and they shall say unto the elders
in his cities, this our son is stubborn and rebellious.
And stubborn and rebellious.
He would not obey our voice. He is a glutton.
All he do is want to eat, read.
And a drunkard.
And a drunkard. He want to drink. Today they want to eat. They want to smoke dope. They want to drink alcohol. They want to be disobedient, stubborn, and think that they grown, think that they, you know, when they start smelling themselves, it's time to start checking them. Because I don't care how old you is, if you're not doing what your parents tell you to do, and you doing what this white man tell you to do, that goes to show that you don't love your parents, that you love the white man. You can't get anything done. A parent buys your clothes, they put a roof over your head, they put food in your stomach, they give you instructions, and what do? You turn your back on them, you rebel against them, you get stiff-necked, you are hard-headed, very disobedient children. But you do everything the white man tell you that persecutes your parents for chastising you. So you tell me what's what. Read, my sister.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 15. And he that smiteth his father,
and he that hits his father, read,
or his mother, shall be surely put to death.
Read that again, sister.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 15. And he that smiteth his father, or his mother,
read,
shall be surely put to death.
If you got the gall and the audacity and the nerve to hit one of your parents, the Bible says that you will surely be put to death. But when it comes to chastising you, they can't chastise you. Because if they chastise you, you're going to get on the phone and call the police. You're going to call uncle or auntie or whoever, granddaddy, whoever it is. But nothing will happen to you when you do those things. But when it comes to someone that loves you, like your mother and your father, what do? You betray them. You betray your mother and your father because you don't have any business putting your hands on your mother or your father. I wish one of my kids would have tried to put their hands on me. They wouldn't be able to put their hands on anyone else, and I would have just went on to jail, because it is a stopping point that you do not let your household be taken over by threats of little young kids. They have to stay in their place and stop disrespecting their parents. They're only causing demise for themselves. They're not causing themselves to have a long life. They're causing themselves to what? In any moment that something can happen to them because they are being disobedient to their parents. Read what you got.
Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1.
What? Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 1. Read, my brother.
Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right.
Read that again, brother.
Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1.
Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. Read.
Children, obey your parents.
Children, obey your parents. It didn't say parents, obey your children. It say children, obey your parents. Read.
In the Lord.
In the Lord.
For this is right.
For this is the thing that is right. It is right for you to obey your parents. It is not right for you to disrespect your parents. It is not right for you to put your hands on your parents. That's what the Bible is telling you. But what do? We constantly want to do everything that's contrary to what the Bible is telling you. And that's why you see a lot of young kids today that are 14, 15, 16 years old. They're dying out in the streets. They're ending up pregnant at the age of 14 and 15 years old. Don't even have a future ahead of them because they are denying themselves childhood. Trying to be grown, give yourself a chance to be a child. And then as time go on, you come into maturity. You come into adulthood. But right now, be in the place where you're supposed to be. And that's what? That's doing what it is that you're supposed to do according to the Bible. Not according to what someone else is saying, but according to the Bible. The Bible is what it is that you should be paying attention to. The Bible is what it's supposed to be, the instructions that you're supposed to be applying in your life. And not this white man doctrine that you so care about so much that you can put your hands on your parents, disrespect your parents. Read.
Matthew chapter 15, verse 4.
Matthew, read it.
For God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death.
Read that again, sister.
Matthew chapter 15, verse 4.
Read.
For God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother. God
said what? He gave a commandment to do what, sister?
Honor thy father and mother. And he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death.
The Bible says that it is a commandment from God that you honor your mother and your father. And if you disrespect your parents by cursing them and all sorts of things that you do, what does the Bible say? Read again, sister, what the Bible is saying.
For God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother.
Honor your father and your mother.
And he that curseth father or mother.
And he that curses father or mother.
Let him die the death.
God don't care nothing about killing you. He don't care nothing about you being young. You're young, dumb, and stupid. So what these scriptures is telling you, that what? You're going to die. It may not happen today or tomorrow. It may not even happen till you get in your 20s or 30s. But as sure as you continue to do and be rebellious against your parents, these are the things that can happen to you. What you should do is start following the instructions, being obedient. Everybody has an order. It's not your turn to be in charge. You're not in charge of the family. You're not in charge of the finances. You're not in charge of paying this rent. You're not in charge of putting this food in the house to take care of your family. You can't even get a job yet. But you want to holler about you grown and you calling shots and you being disrespected. Stop the nonsense and stop being disrespectful and start honoring and obeying your parents. Read what you got.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24.
Read.
He that spareth.
Read.
He that spareth his rod, hating his sons.
Read again, brother.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24. He that spareth his rod, hating his son, but he that loveth him chasteth him betimes.
I want you to read that so these young people can hear you again, my brother. Read that one more time.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24.
Read.
He that spareth his rod.
He that spareth his rod. That means the mother or the father, that if they have a disobedient child and they spare the rod, mean that they will not chastise their children. Read.
Hateth his son.
Hated his son. Read.
But he that loveth him chasteth him betimes.
If you love your children and you want them to do right, if you want them to be safe, if you want them to learn sound conduct, how to be able to maneuver out here in Esau's kingdom, how to be able to deal with people, then you need to chastise your kid. If that means that you got to whoop them, that's what you do. Because what the society out here and the white man is doing today, he's causing your kids to be like wild bulls in a net. He don't want them to have no discipline because he wants them to be set up so he can destroy them, so he can kill them, so he can put them in the penitentiary, so they could be out here laying out in the streets homeless. Because what they say, they have no home training. So he don't want you to what? Be trained. But he wants you to make sure that you teach your children that you what? Read that again one more time, my brother, because this is very important that these young people start to understand it and knowing what it is that's going to help them be able to be better people in this messed up, docile society that we live in today called America. Read.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24.
Read.
He that spareth his rod hateth his son.
He that spareth his rod hateth his son. Read.
But he that loveth him chasteth him betimes.
Beat his butt. Beat her butt. That's what it's telling you. Don't spare them. Because when you spare them once, you're going to spare them again. And the more you keep sparing, the more you keep cutting slack, the more they're going to continue to be disobedient to you, to one day that they may grow up and kill you. Read what you got, sister.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 17.
Read.
And he that curseth his father.
And he that curses his father. Read.
Or his mother.
Or his mother.
Shall surely be put to death.
Shall surely be put to death. You see what it's saying? It's always talking about killing you, young people. That's what God is saying. You remember the same thing that the Israelites was doing when they was walking around in the wilderness for 40 years? Being disrespectful. A whole generation of people died off. And then what? More came in. And they become what? More disobedient. And so the same thing is happening if we do not do what the last scripture that we just read about chastising our children. If we continue to chastise our children, we're going to continue to get the same results. Disobedience on the bottom and everything. Read that one more time, sister.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 17.
Read.
And he that curseth his father.
And he that curses his father.
Or his mother.
Or his mother.
Shall surely be put to death.
It's always talking about putting you disrespectful, disobedient children to death. So what are you going to choose? The book of Jeremiah, chapter what? 8 and verse 3, it says what? And death shall be chosen rather than life. And that's what you young people are choosing today. You are choosing death because what? You are disrespecting your people. You are cursing your parents. You are hitting your parents. You are doing all sorts of things contrary to what God is trying to tell you. You're doing the exact opposite. And so you only putting yourself in the line to be tossed in the lake of fire. Read what you got.
Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 20.
Read Proverbs 20 and 20, brother.
Whoso curseth his father.
There we go again. See? Whoso what?
Whoso curseth his father.
Whoso curses his father.
Or his mother.
Or his mother.
His lamb shall be put out in obscure darkness.
Whosoever curses his father or his mother, his lamb, his light, his knowledge, everything that it is that he's supposed to be attaining, everything that he's supposed to be attained will be put in darkness. That means that what? You ain't gonna have no understanding. You're not gonna have anything. Like I said, only thing that you're gonna have waiting for you is the lake of fire. That's what you're gonna have. What do you choose, young Israelite children? Are you gonna choose death, or are you gonna continue to choose? Are you gonna choose life or continue to choose death? Because what's being done today and the choices that are being made today, death is being chosen. Make a change. Come out of your stubborn, stiff-necked, and hard-headed ways, young Israelites, and be all that God requires of you, so that you would be able to attain the blessings, the covenant, the promises that God promises you. Read.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 26. Read, sister.
For if we sin willfully.
For if we sin willfully.
After that.
Read.
After that, we have received the knowledge.
When your mother and your father have set you down and have went through these scriptures and everything with you, and you knowing of age that you are right now, that you know what wrong is and you know what right is. And when you willfully go against the teachings, there's no more what? Read, sister.
Knowledge of truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin.
Read it again from the top.
Yes. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26.
Read.
For if we sin willfully, after that we receive the knowledge of the truth.
Read.
There remaineth no more sacrifice for sins.
You don't get no more chances. You've already had all the chances that you need. Now you've run out of chances. Now you run out of this grace. So now you're in the fire line. And when you're in the fire line, it's hot. But you waiting to get tossed into the what? The lake of fire. For being contrary to what God's word is telling you. But you sure want to listen to what that white man say. But you don't want to listen to what God say. You don't want to listen to what his son Yahushua says. You don't want to listen to what your mother or your father is saying, but you sure will listen to the white man ways. It's only a setup for you to what? Be tossed in darkness. And why will you be tossed in darkness? Because when you in sin and you doing wrong, it's just like being in a dark room. You got to reach out and you got to feel for stuff. And then when you stumble and fall, you don't even know what it is that caused you to fall. Why? Because you're living in sin. Stop living in sin, youngsters. Get yourself together. Start having some wisdom, some knowledge, and some understanding. And stop thinking that you know everything when you don't know it the other. You don't know how to pull piss out a boot. And the directions tell you to turn it up because you can't comprehend, you can't read. You think you know everything. You don't know nothing. Read what you got.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 12.
Exodus 20 and 12. Read, my brother.
Honor thy father.
Read.
And thy mother. That thy days.
What?
Honor thy father and thy mother.
Read.
That thy days
Uh-huh.
may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Honor thy father and thy mother. See, this is what is the Bible and what Yahweh is telling you. Honor your mother and your father. That your days upon this earth, that your days may be what? Extended beyond your imagination. That your days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth you. What the land he want to give you? He want to give you Israel. He want to give you Jerusalem. He want to have you to go back home and take care of business like you're supposed to be doing. But if you don't have any honor or respect for your mother and your father, instead of your days being long upon the land in which the Lord thy God giveth, your days will be short. But you're going to be in the lake of fire forever. Read, sister.
Psalms chapter 78, verse 5-6.
Read.
For he established a testimony in Jacob.
He did what?
He established a testimony in Jacob.
Uh-huh.
And appointed a law in Israel.
What you say? Read.
Which he commanded our fathers.
Uh-huh.
That they should make them known to their children.
Sister, read that again for me, please. See, young people, I'm taking my time with these scriptures because I really, really care and love you. And I don't want to see anything happen to you. I want to make sure that you get the very best that God has for you. That's why I keep doing what I'm doing. Because it really hurts me when I see my young Israelite brothers and sisters out there and they're being disobedient to the parents that are trying to be in this truth. Read, sister, please.
Psalms chapter 78, verse 5.
Read.
For he established a testimony in Jacob.
So he established a testimony in Jacob. Read.
And appointed a law in Israel.
Uh-huh.
Which he commanded our fathers.
That's right.
That they should make them known to their children.
That they should make the laws, statutes, and commandments known to their children. Read.
That the generation to come.
And the generation to come.
Might know them, even the children which should be born.
That means your children's children. Read.
Who should arise and declare them to their children.
Teach your children. Read 7, sister.
Verse 7. That they might set their hope in Yahweh.
That they may set their hope in Yahweh.
And not forget the works of Yahweh, but keep his commandments.
Not forget the things that Yahweh has done for you. But what? Keep the commandments. Keep the laws. Keep the statutes. That is your heritage. That is for your good. That is for what can keep you out of the lake of fire. That will also keep you from laying in the streets dead, walking around here pregnant, homeless. I see so many young kids out here, 15, 18, 17 years old, out here homeless. They're getting a double dose in Esau's kingdom. Why? Because of their disobedience and their parents' disobedience. That's what's going on. But he's telling us to make sure that we what? Teach these things to our children, so our children can teach these things to their children, and this go on from generation to generation. Long as we keep generating, long as we keep having children, this applies. So we have to make sure that we take heed, that we listen, and that we understand, and that we start applying the things that we need to apply so that we may be able to attain all the promises and the covenants and everything that Yahweh has promised us. Read.
Proverbs chapter 19, verse 18.
Proverbs 19 and 18. Read, brother.
Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crime.
Read that again, brother.
Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 18. Chasten thy son while there is hope.
Chastise your children while it's hope.
And let not thy soul spell for his crime.
You know, time you get ready, a lot of kids, time you get ready to what? Raise that strap back. What they start doing? They start crying. I know when I was a little boy, time my mama raised that switch back, I done already hollered 10 minutes. I'm crying and hollering and everything. And my mama would cut me some slack. She wouldn't be so hard on me. But the Bible is telling us, it says, chastise thy son while there is hope. And let not the soul spare for his crying. Don't make no difference about his crying. That ain't gonna kill him. That's good for his lungs. You ain't gonna kill him. Put that strap on him. Don't let him be crying. Don't let her be crying. Stop you from chastising your children. Because by you being soft on your children, it's not going to be soft when these people out here in this society, it's not going to be soft on them. They're going to be rough, tough, and hard on your children. That's why you got to teach your children what thus says Yahweh and his son Yahweh, so that they may what? Have long life on the land which the Lord thy God giveth. Read.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 15.
2 Timothy 3 and 15. Read, sister.
And that from a child
Read.
thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation.
That they are able to do what, sister?
Make thee wise unto salvation.
Read.
Through faith which is in Yahweh.
That's right. And that from a child. Just like now, you children. Your parents are trying to what? Teach you the scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation. What is being wise to salvation? That when Yahweh shall come back, you will be able to have that. You will be able to receive that. Because you do those things that he requires of you. And so that's what it's saying, my brothers and my sisters. And that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures. Your parents are teaching you the holy scriptures right now. So you know what's going on. Your parents has taught you these holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith, which is in Yahweh. See, listen to your parents. Don't listen to nobody else, because ain't nobody gonna love you like your parents. Just because your parents put that strap on you, they doing that because they love you. The same way that Yahweh is chastising us, stiff, hard-necked people, because he loves us. So when your parents is telling you some things and talking to you, take heed, listen to them, because they love you. They've already lived the life that you're trying to live. The things that you think that you know, your parents been knew. There's nothing new under the sun. Don't think you know something that your parents don't know. It ain't nothing that you know your parents don't know. It ain't no way that you think that you can be so slick that your parents don't already know what you got on your mind, what you intend to do. Don't be 15, 16 out here pregnant. Don't be disrespectful. Give yourself an opportunity to make it to the kingdom. Stop denying yourself a chance at life so that you can be able to have it more abundantly. Don't you want the abundant life that God has for you? Well, there's requirements. Start doing those requirements. Read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 16.
Cursed
be he that severeth light by his father.
Read that again. Cursed be the man that what? Maketh. No, read.
Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 16.
Read.
Cursed be he that severeth light by his father or his mother. And all the people shall say amen. Cursed
be he that setteth light by his father or his mother. And all the people shall say amen. So when you go against all the things that your parents are trying to tell you, and you doing your own thing, I keep telling you all the time, doing your own thing ain't gonna get you to the kingdom. You keep trying to do all these things. You curse. It's a curse. Be he that setteth light by his father or his mother, and all the people shall say amen. You ain't gonna be able to run in nobody and get nobody to take your side against your parents like it is today in this society. That's all goes on. When you call the police, they run in and put your parents in jail. And then what they gonna do? They gonna send you to an orphanage. And then what's gonna happen at the orphanage? 9 times out of 10, you gonna get molested or abused, and you caused it on yourself because you thought you was being slick. You don't know the damage that you can do because your mother and your father is Hebrew brothers and sisters, and they are already hated because they have been chosen by God. And so you are putting your parents in the line of fire because of your wayward ways. Stop being that way and love your parents. Honor, respect, and obey your mother and father so that you may have a long life. That's what it needs, so you can have a long life. Read.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8.
Proverbs 1 and 8. Read, sister.
My son, hear the instruction of thy father.
Read.
And forsake not the law of thy mother.
Read that again, sister.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8. My son, hear the instruction of thy father.
Hear the instructions of your father.
And forsake not the law of thy mother. Don't
forsake those laws. You know why? Because we're saying that, my son, hear the instructions of my father. Hear the teachings of your father. And forsake not the laws of the mother. What the mother is doing is teaching you the laws, statutes, and commandments because your father has taught her. That's why it's telling you, my son, hear the instructions of thy father. Those instructions are the laws, statutes, and commandments. And forsake not the law of thy mother. See? The father teaches the mother, and the mother does what? Teach the children. And that's the way that it's supposed to be. But now sometimes we got some sorry mothers as well as some sorry fathers. And that's why a lot of children today are being confused and confounded. But when you have parents that's trying to keep you in line, you need to be thanking God for the parent that you have. Because there are some parents that don't care nothing about their children. They don't care whether they come home. They trying to put them out every time boyfriend or girlfriend come over. They want to make them go outside or make them go somewhere. And they don't care how long they stay gone. Because their attention is not on their children. It's on some old man or some woman. So you need to thank God that you have a parent and that your mother and father is in the same household. That's very rare. You don't see that too much these days when you have both parents in the same house. Because the white man has taken the so-called black man out of the house and has put the woman in charge. And what we have a lot of effeminate brothers and a lot of masculine sisters. Pregnant, on drugs, homeless, don't even know how to make the right decisions because they haven't been taught. But when you have parents that are paying attention to you, you need to have some respect and stop being disrespectful. Read.
Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 4.
Read.
And ye fathers, provoke not your children.
Ye fathers, don't provoke your children
to wrath, but bring them up in the nature and admonition of the Lord.
Read that again.
Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 4.
And
ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nature and admonition of the Lord.
Bring them up in the teachings of Yahweh. And ye fathers, say, provoke not your children. Don't be trying to tell your children how to be a certain way when they looking at you and you doing the opposite of what you trying to tell them. So now what's happening? There's confusion. He's telling me this. He's telling me not to do this, but he's doing that. So don't provoke your children to have to even ask you questions about doubting what the word of God is saying because you're not fulfilling your proper role. Because you're not doing the thing that you're supposed to do so your children can see. Because I don't care what nobody say. There ain't no role model out there. The best role model is supposed to be in the house. That's supposed to be the best role model. It's supposed to be in the house. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Teaching them the law, statutes, and commandments. Teaching them how to live right. Teaching them how to respect each other. Teaching them how to maneuver in Esau's kingdom so you won't be on the 6 o'clock news. That's what it's saying. Read what you got.
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6.
Read.
Train up a child.
Train up a child.
In the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Read that again, sister. This is what your parents is trying to do to you so that when you get older up in age, you can what? Remember, you can reflect. You can do the thing that you have been taught. Read it again, sister.
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go.
Train up a child in the law, statutes, and commandments.
And when he is old,
and when he is risen and gotten older,
he will not depart from it.
He will not depart from it. You see, sometimes, we slip and we slide and we make some mistakes. But if we've been taught this word, we've been taught the law, statutes, and commandments. When we make those mistakes, we don't continue to make them. We don't continue to wallow in our sins. We get up immediately, dust ourselves off, and correct ourselves because we remember the teachings of our parents. That's what the Bible is saying. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old. See, when your child is young, you're training them. That's what your parents are doing right now. They're training you. They're teaching you while you're young, so that when you get older, you will still have some of the same values. You'll have the same values that you have been taught. When you get older, you'll continue to have those same standards. Read, my brother.
Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 16. Honor thy father and thy mother.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
As the Lord thy God hath commanded thee.
As the Lord thy God has done what?
Honor thy father and thy mother as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee.
Read.
That thy days may be prolonged.
No, that my days may be short. Read. That my days may be short. Read.
And that it may go well with thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Read that again, brother.
Deuteronomy chapter 5 verse 16. Honor thy father and thy mother.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
As the Lord thy God hath commanded thee.
As Yahweh has commanded thee.
That thy days may be prolonged.
No, that thy days may be short.
That thy days may be prolonged.
Read.
And that it may go well with thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Honor your mother and your father. It's not hard. Stop trying to be grown. And come back in order. Honor your mother and father, that your days may be what? Prolonged. And that it may go well with what? With thee. That it may go well with you. That you may have a good life. That you may have a long life. That you may have a prosperous life. In the land which the Lord Yahweh, thy God, giveth thee. And so I say to all of Israel children today, honor your mother and fathers or die. Shalom.